You're listening to the SEO Mindset podcast. Now, we are not your typical how to do SEO podcast. No, we are not. With the help of our guests, we cover those all-important topics around career development, personal growth, and mental health for those working in the SEO industry. You got to be working on your own internal algorithm, like what we did there. So, if you like the sound of our podcast and you think this is a bit of me, shall we crack on with this week's episode? December arrives with twinkly lights and festive energy. Isn't it wonderful? But for many of us, it also brings pressure, expectations, and a calendar that fills up much too fast. If you've ever reached Christmas, or you're listening to this episode feeling more tired than joyful, then this episode is a time for you to do a gentle reset. Today on the SEO Mindset podcast, we're talking about how to rest, recharge, and reclaim a little bit of calm during the holidays in really simple, doable ways. Think of it as your 30-minute invitation to step back, breathe, and rediscover the parts of the season that actually feel good. Now, before I play this cracking episode, just a quick reminder of how you can support the podcast. You can give us a one-off donation, and there is a link in the show notes to do so. It costs as little as a cup of coffee, tea, whatever your beverage of choice is from your favourite coffee shop. Okay, are you ready for a reset, recharge? Then let's listen to this week's episode.
Hello, it's me, Tazmin.
It's me, Sarah.
Sarah, big question. Are you looking forward to the holidays?
So, I'm not going to lie, Christmas, December, to be fair, has just crept up on me. Like, all of a sudden, I felt like one moment we were in November, and then I blinked. It's Tash's birthday at the end of November. Well, near the end of November. So that was my focus. And then all of a sudden, December and Christmas. So I feel like it's just crept up on me. So I'm not feeling overly ready or overly festive. We did put Christmas decorations up at my family's house at the weekend, so that helped. But yes, how about you?
So I am not at home today. I'm sat in front of a Christmas tree, so it's very festive here. I think for me, it's and partly this is why I'm recording this episode. I think it went from something that, oh yeah, it's going to be Christmas soon, to oh my goodness, I've got so much to do, and I think on the surface of it, it looks like Christmas is all very joyful and pretty and twinkly lights, but under the surface of it, a lot of people are feeling a lot of pressure. And why I wanted to record this episode was to give people a way of relieving the pressure. And if they're secretly thinking, what, December is going to be really draining, this episode is your gentle invitation. Slow down, get a bit calm, a little bit of perspective, and we're going to send you back into your world feeling so much better about it all.
Well, you've enticed me, Tazmin.
And there's more. So we're going to talk about why it feels so pressurized. And then after the break, we're going to talk about how you can start, breaking those patterns that are draining you. And some really, right at the end, we're going to go through some really easy tips and easy ideas of how you can get some rest and recharge, because that's part of the whole reason we have this time off. Is it not, Sarah? It's not just chocolate.
I think it depends on who you're asking. Because there's a lot of people like myself who would find it quite hard to switch off. And I mean, hopefully you'll help. This is one of the things that you're going to help us with. But as soon as I have, so for example, over Christmas, I do want to take some time off. But as soon as I see that there's nothing in my calendar, I'll get nervous and start putting stuff in.
Really? Ah, okay. So that leads us very, very nicely onto, why do the holidays feel so heavy? And the first point I had is people are committing and saying, just filling their calendar because for some reason empty space is bad in a calendar. I do not know why, but it's bad.
I agree. I think if you, so the reason that I see an empty space in a calendar as bad, and I know that bad is probably the wrong terminology, but why I worry is because I've got this innate feeling to be productive all the time. And even with time off, I need to be productive. So if I'm not at work, who have I not seen for a while that I can catch up with? What sort of chores or tasks or house stuff have always been on the list that I've never got around to? Do you know what I mean? Like there's always stuff to do, and especially if you are like me, and I'm guessing there's lots of people that think the same, but you just have to be productive all the time. And yeah.
There's a lot of unpacking to be done here. So resting is important. Resting is also being productive.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when we feel that the day was only worthwhile when we did stuff that was,
Yes.
cleaning that drawer that nobody ever really looks in, or um I can empathize with this. This was me not so long ago where I would regularly go and clean down all the doors in the house. It was like one of the like monthly tasks, clean the skirting board. Like who cares? If I now, if anybody knows my husband and he asks them, what do you think Tasmin would want for Christmas? I'm just going to say it. I want a day where all I do is just sit on my sofa and read a book. I don't want to think about what we're having to eat. I don't want to think about when we're eating. I want somebody else to think of that and just hand me a plate of food every few hours.
I
And
don't think you're
that would
asking
be
too much there.
that's all I want. Sit on the sofa and read. But overcommitting is, going back to why Christmas and the festivities can feel so much is people do overcommit, right? And sometimes especially if you're in a relationship and both sets of parents want to have you over for a roast, and you've had two roasts in one day, which is a lot. Um, and there's this desire to make everyone else happy because that's what you do, right? And that's the other reason why people find it so hard at Christmas because they're trying to make everything just right, but where they're getting this picture of just right is often in their heads. They've made it up and it's not always true. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I can relate to everything that you've just said there.
Yeah. Um, Feeling responsible, and it sort of links in as well. Feeling responsible that if I do this, then everyone else is going to have a good Christmas. If I have the decorations just so, and the presents thoughtful, and three different types of potatoes on the table, and um, everything spick and span, then Christmas will be wonderful for everyone. That's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure. And again, I just, it makes me smile and makes me laugh because I fall into this camp as well.
Mm. Okay, so there's quite a few that you're ticking off this list. So that applies to you. That
Thanks.
applies to you. It's like I wrote this for you, Sarah. Now, I don't know if this one will. Comparing your other people's perfect holidays with yours. Do you do that?
Okay. So, explain a little bit more. What do you mean?
So supposing one of your friends says, "Oh, this is what I'm doing for Christmas. This is how we're going to set the table or whatever it is. And you think, oh, yeah, I didn't buy
Okay.
fancy table linen. I need to get table linen. Or um, afterwards, when people are hungry, I was just going to make a sandwich. I was not going to create this whole new meal. Or, even the types of presents or whatever it is, comparing your idea of holidays, comparing that to somebody else's that looks really perfect, that can put a lot of pressure on people.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely if you feel that it's not really aligned with you as well, because just because someone else is doing that for Christmas doesn't necessarily, or that's how they're spending their holiday season, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do that. So, yeah, I think I've sort of fallen trap to that as well. Especially if people are posting all the wonderful adventures that they're going on,
Yeah.
or that they've been doing a lot of Christmas festive walks and look how many steps I've done, or
Oh
look at how many
gosh, yes, all of that.
books that I've written.
Read even.
I didn't mean written, read over the Christmas holiday, or like people who have caught up on admin, or people who've used the Christmas break to learn a new skill. So it's not necessarily just Christmas, because I think how people celebrate Christmas, not everyone celebrates Christmas, or not
Yeah.
everyone spends the holiday season the same, but I imagine that is for some people. But just like the festive period, I imagine people end up comparing themselves to the activities that people are doing over the time.
And you make a good point, and it's a lot of it is also online. So you will see people um, handmade cards and all of this glorious stuff, and then it rolls into next year. So people who are setting their goals and doing this reflection and doing that reflection, and there's a lot. And when you sit back and think, what are you doing it for? Now, if you really want to do that thing, go ahead and do that thing. I'm not saying to anyone what they should or shouldn't do. What I'm suggesting is, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling under pressure, if you're feeling overwhelmed, really take a step back and ask yourself, these things, do I actually want them?
Yeah, definitely. I've just thought of another one that sprung to my mind as well, is over the Christmas period, you know how you have advent calendars or the countdown
Mm,
to Christmas? I see a lot of like professionals on LinkedIn or businesses over social media that like each day they will share a tip, like a SEO tip or a podcast tip or these things as
yeah.
well. And there's been so many times where like I've seen people use the festive period as like a way to market themselves or to like build their personal brand, and then I get that guilt that I'm not doing that and I'm not using the season to do that stuff as well.
Yeah.
But again, it might not be aligned to what you're doing.
Or maybe I mean, because we've done that in the past, haven't we? We've had countdown of our episodes of
Yes.
and we did not do that this time because there's just so much else going on, and we miss Crystal because she'd have whipped us into shape and said, "Come on, need to do this." But I think sometimes you need to take a step back, and if anybody is listening who wants to hear more, there is a link in the show notes and to an ebook I've written on this topic. And what I say in there is, think of yourself as a bathtub and think of your energy as the water that's in the tub.
Okay.
And when there's a leak, when the plug isn't sitting in right, where are the leaks? Where's your energy draining? Is it draining in this need to be perfect? Is it draining in this need to be like next door? Is it draining in this need to do it all on your own? That's another thing people will do. Because you need to plug those leaks, because Christmas is about resting and recharging yourself. And if you've got a leaky tub, no matter how much you turn that water on, some of it's going to go.
Very true. Very true.
And commercialism, you turn the TV on and it's about, oh, you must have this and you must have that. So there's a lot of reasons why Christmas can feel draining, but at the same time, there's a huge opportunity to really enjoy yourself, really take time and do the things that you want to do, spend time with friends, spend time with family, and have a lovely time. And that's what I wish for everyone.
And equally, me time as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yes, you might want to spend time with other people, catch up with people, see friends, family, which is great. But you might actually be like, crikey, I've got this time and I can carve out a full day, a half day, whatever it is, just for me time. I can do that because,
yeah,
again, just because you're seeing other people, meeting up with people, doing festive activities, going for food, going for meetups, doing whatever, going to a Christmas fair, going ice skating. That's great. But also what people don't really post online or share about is, I mean, some people do, but you see less where someone's just been in their pajamas all day and they've just read a book, or they've slept a bit longer, or they've done some yoga, done some exercise, like all of that stuff as well.
So we've talked a lot about why Christmas can feel draining, heavy, pressurized. Why don't we take a break? And then when we come back, I'll share some easy strategies for really taking the pressure off.
Sounds fabulous. Sounds festively fabulous. You probably already recognise this voice, but Sarah here. Are you enjoying what me and Tazmin are doing and fancy supporting the podcast? Well, it just so happens that you can. Now, for the same price as a Starbucks, Costa, or your favourite coffee shop coffee, you can give us a one-off tip or a monthly donation. If you fancy doing that, follow the link in the show notes. Why not also help us share the podcast? Get the word out there. Share us with your friends, colleagues, family, anyone who you think would benefit from our podcast.
Hi, Tazmin here. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Be more visible, earn more, but also take care of your well-being and have work-life harmony? Well, I can help you because I'm offering you a free 30-minute consultancy call. Together we can go through where you want to be and how to get there. Simply click in the link in the show notes, fill in a form, and I'll get back to you. So, Sarah, we've been talking all about Christmas and why it can be difficult, but now I want to take you through what you can do to just ease the pressure.
I've got my notebook at the ready.
You don't need to. There is an ebook link in the show notes.
No.
Right, this one I find really difficult. That's why it's number one. You don't have to carry everything alone. You don't have to do everything yourself. And that's been such a difficult habit for me to break. And I must say that I struggle. I still struggle with this one because I think, oh, it's just easier if I do it myself. Do you struggle with that one?
Delegation. I think I do, yes, because it's because I'm impatient, or like I'm not very good at waiting for help. I'm not very good at asking for help, and I'm not very good at waiting for help because, like you, I'm like, I could just do it myself. Yeah. But there's been times where, and this happened recently actually, where so I don't know, say I've been away for a weekend, or I've had a busy few days at work or a busy day at work, and there's stuff to do in the house. I'm like a tornado, apparently, according to Tash, like a bit of a whirlwind. And she says to me so many times, "You're moving so quickly, Sarah. Slow down." And I'm like, I can't. I've got to get this thing done. It's in my mind and it's in my brain. I need to get this and this and this done. But then as I'm whirlwinding, I get more and more overwhelmed, and I see another job that needs to be done or another job that needs to be done. And then I will like act or react or like go, or like complain. And Tasha said to me a couple of times, like, why didn't you just ask for support, Sarah? Why didn't you just ask for help? And I'm like, true. Why didn't I? Rather than being like this tornado going around causing destruction, probably because I'm moving so fast. But yeah, it is hard. And sometimes someone has to remind me that I can ask for help before I actually do.
Now, I'm going to let you into a secret. Although we're talking about these, breaking these old patterns for the purpose of Christmas, if anyone is feeling that, oh, that sounds like me, it will translate into your real world as well, into normal day-to-day life. So if you are in the habit of, going around like a tornado, doing it all yourself, not asking for your help, that's going to manifest in your work life as well.
True.
So if you can grow this Christmas, you can grow in 2026, Sarah.
Yes, because I definitely see how jumping in and just doing everything in a work setting as well before asking for help, support, all of that, that's going to creep up, isn't it?
Yeah. So my suggestion, and this might feel hard, but bear with me, ask others to pitch in. Even if it is one thing, start off with one thing and communicate this ahead of time. Don't do what I would often do, huff and puff, and expect people to read my mind that I'm tired and offer to peel potatoes. It doesn't work. Take it from me. They'll just wonder what the hell's going on, but nobody's going to peel the potatoes because you've not asked them to. In an ideal world, would everybody know the menu that you'd planned, the sequence at which you're going to do the cooking, what you need help with? And they're not going to do that. So ask ahead of time, and this is going to be tricky for you. Let them do it their own way. It doesn't matter if they don't do it your way.
Yes, because I think I even said this in my Brighton SEO talk in October about delegation. It doesn't matter if the end result is right or the same. It might not be the same, but as long as the end result is what is needed, it doesn't matter how someone gets there.
Yeah. Going back to my potatoes, it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly peeled. It really doesn't. And it means it can be anything that you're struggling with, but don't wait to the point where you're exhausted before you ask. Try and ask ahead of time. Just don't do it all on your own.
I did do this morning. So because I am adamant that I am going to take 2 weeks off over the festive period, over Christmas. My next 2 weeks are a little crammed, but it's hard work and I'm going to get everything sorted. So then when my out of office comes on, close of play on Friday and I'm done. But then what happened is something I planned my calendar out beautifully, Tazmin, like even had breaks in and got it all sorted. But then things pop up. So today I had to take Benny to the vets. He's okay. Benny the dog is fine. It was just like a routine checkup. And I was like, crikey, I've got to get this work done for a client. And I've not allocated time to take Benny to the vets. What I have allocated time for is his morning routine. So take him out for a morning stroll and getting his breakfast and all of that sorted before cracking on with work. And I did ask Tash for support. on that one because I knew that I had a deadline with my client work and getting into a a good place before I finish. So I did ask ahead of time.
Excellent. Good stuff. You've got it nailed. We're going to move on to the next one then.
Okay.
The next one's all about perfectionism. Perfectionism is not the goal. Perfect is not the goal. Connection is. You know, perfection, I can't even say it today. It's need to be perfect, whether it's at Christmas, whether it's, in your day to day. It's it's a real nasty thing that lives in your head that just
Mm,
sucks the joy out of so much. It convinces you that everything's got to be flawless to be meaningful. And it's not true, because if you think about really lovely memories, um, moments that you treasure, it's because they were perfect. It's because they were memorable.
definitely. Yeah.
So really let go of things being perfect. Don't even try. Because sometimes when we try and we don't get it to the point where we want to, we say, oh, do you know what? It was fine. It was fine. Don't aim for it. Give yourself, cut yourself some slack. Don't go and try and make everything matchy and everything this and everything that. Just give yourself a rest. Just
Mm.
get it done. People are not bothered. People just want to to connect, to have a nice time. And even if you did create the most perfect Christmas for everyone, but you were exhausted in the run up to it, then what was the point?
Definitely, definitely. And I can also think that perfectionism is gonna slow you down. So in my example of trying to get into a good place so I can finish for Christmas, like if I'm striving for perfection as well, like that the tasks that you need to get done, or like stressing about your out of office, for example, what you're going to put on that, or making sure, and all of that sort of stuff. So yes, I can see it in both instances, on your Christmas day and like leading up to Christmas, but also like getting ahead and getting in a good place so you can break over Christmas. Perfectionism is just going to cause you more stress and slow you down.
Very true. And the next one is sort of linked. It's about comparison, and you nailed it earlier when you said, it's not, maybe those things are not aligned to your values. Start off before you even like do lots of prayer. Ask yourself, how do you want to feel? How do you want your family to feel? um, what do you want the day to be about? And then if you are bombarded with this new idea, or a new way of doing this, or a fourth type of potato, just ask yourself, is it going to make my family feel any more of whatever it is that you wanted? Fun, joy, coziness, whatever. And if the answer is no, just leave it. Just stick
Mm.
to what works for you, and that's fine. That is your idea of perfect. So choose what aligns to your values, not what looks impressive from the outside.
Yeah, yeah. Because if that's the reason why you're doing something, because you want to be perceived in a certain way, or you want to come across a certain way, then that's the wrong reason to do it in the first place, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Even
again,
like I
this,
don't. Yeah.
no, sorry. Um, Even in your, out of Christmas world, again, just because somebody is doing something at work, and if it doesn't align with your values, or if somebody is making a choice of, I don't know, I'm going to go and work abroad for a year, and you think, oh, maybe I should do that. But ask yourself, is that what you really want to do? Is that what your values are? And it really helps you decide which goals to go for and which ones not to go for.
And I've got another example of like a Christmas and work related. So let's say that you're, I don't know, that you're in charge of the Christmas get together at work, for example, or it's your responsibility to sort out the gifts or what you do with your clients or whoever that you manage, again, make sure it aligns to the business, make sure it aligns to you as well, and make sure that the stuff that you're spending time doing, the stuff that you're organizing, the stuff that you're sending out there, it's all aligned with you, your business, and your core values, yeah, and your core principles and all of that lovely stuff.
Yeah, very, very true. And the fourth one might be the one that unlocks everything else for people. Fourth one is realizing that your needs matter just as everybody else's needs.
Yes.
So I'm not saying you're more important or they're more important, you're just as important. So when you say yes, even though you're overwhelmed, it keeps you stuck in this cycle of people pleasing and then resentment. Because you didn't really want to do it, but you said yes to make them happy. But now you're stuck at a party that you don't want to be at, where you'd rather be at home, and now you're resentful for that person who invited you in the first place. The problem's not with them, the problem's with you for saying yes in the first place. So it's really important to, be able to say, thank you so much for that invite. It sounds lovely. However, this time I'm going to have to sit it out. You don't have to give a long explanation about why or anything else. You just have to say, you know what, I'm also committed to protecting my energy, and that's not for me today.
And you don't always even have to give a reason. You can politely reject something. You can
Yeah.
politely say, thank you so much, but I can't. And that's something that used to get me a bit stuck. Was one of the reasons why I felt like I couldn't say no was because I felt like my reason wasn't good enough. Do you know what I mean? When someone said to me, probably my counselor or my therapist, was like, you don't have to give a reason, Sarah. Like, it's no one's business. Like, as long as you say thank you for the invitation, and as long as you let them know that you can't go, that's fine. You don't owe an explanation to anyone. The only person that you owe an explanation to is yourself. And if you, in your scenario, if you said yes to something that you knew that you would hate, you knew that when you said yes you had that feeling like, oh, I really don't want to go, then you've done that to yourself. You've put yourself in that situation.
And actually, you've been disrespectful to the person who invited you in the first place, because you're sitting at their party thinking, I wish I wasn't here. It's not very nice. I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me. If I ever invite anyone to a meal or a party and you don't want to come, just say no. Don't sit there thinking, I want to be here. Anyway, so you don't have to answer now. I'm certainly not going to share because I don't want to. But think about what is one thing that you want to say no to and that you're going to say no to. Keep it in your head, Sarah. I'm going to keep it in my head, right? And you just practice. Thank you very much. However, I will not be able to attend. Practice that. Okay.
In front of a
so
mirror.
We are drastically running out of time. I just want to talk about a few ways that you can rest and recharge in the craziness that can be Christmas and 2026 strong. So, Sarah, what are a few examples of ways that you're going to rest and recharge?
So I'm not going to overcommit. So because obviously part of my brain will see, you've got 2 weeks, Sarah. You can see so many people. You can cram so much fun, festive, all of that stuff in. I'm going to rein it back and actually look at time that I can rest and recharge. So look in my calendar and be like, do you know what? I'm not going to see anyone that day. That's going to be a bit of me time. I'm going to be in my pajamas, reading a book. So yes, I'm going to be thoughtful with the time and what I want to commit to. I'm not going to overcommit. I'm also going to be authentic to myself and remind myself that I don't have to say yes to everything. If something that I don't really want to go to, I can say no, and that's okay. And I'm going to try and not compare. So just because someone's doing something over the festive period on Christmas Day doesn't necessarily mean that I need to. As long as me, Tash, and Benny the dog are happy over the festive period and we're happy on the day, and the other people around us that we choose to spend time with, then that's all that matters.
Brilliant. Wonderful. I think for me, I'm going to have my reading day on my new window seats that I'm very
Lovely.
excited about. The flooring's coming in tomorrow, so we can actually use the room. Um, I got gifted a little art set that I'm going to dabble with, and one day I'm going to bake cookies because I love baking.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Sarah, it's time for us to say goodbye.
It is time for us to say goodbye.
But I do want to share with everyone that I think it's going to be next week's episode. I'm going to talk about something I've never spoken about on the podcast, and it's a thing called the S curve, and it will really help you understand where you are in your career progression. So I don't want them to miss out on that. We are coming up to, goal setting season and all of that good stuff. So that's going to be really great. But another episode I want to just mark out for people is this time last year. Remember, we did the setting yourself up for success in 2025.
Yep.
I'm going to put a link in the show notes. That's a really good one to listen to while you are setting your goals for next year. And, like you always say, subscribe to the podcast and then you will never miss an episode. So please, everyone, subscribe. We've got lots of resources that you can access. Again, all of the links are in the show notes. We want to help you make 2026 a year where you meet all of those career aspirations.
Sounds fabulous. And we always endeavour. So episodes go out every single Thursday. There
Yeah,
might be an odd Thursday that me and Tazmin miss just due to life, obstacles come up in the way.
they
But we
do.
do endeavour. There is usually an episode every Thursday. But if you subscribe, like Tazmin said, for free, you'll get notified whenever you can listen to a new episode anyway.
Brilliant. And of course, the ebook "Reclaim the Magic of the Holidays," free to download, is in the show notes as well.
Fabulous. Well, Tazmin, have a lovely festive period.
And you, Sarah, and
Goodbye.
everyone listening.
Goodbye. Take care of yourselves, and until next time.
Take care, everybody. Goodbye.